Ever wondered how far your neighborhood busybody would go to protect property values? What if the woman policing your lawn had a gun and zero patience for non-compliant Jasmine? And what happens when the dad everyone whispered about as that problem homeowner finally stops taking their nonsense and turns their own rules against them? Picture this. The pristine streets of Willowbrook Estates, Ohio, where every lawn is trimmed to military precision and every flower knows its approved shade or faces the wrath of the clipboard brigade. On the surface it looked like suburban heaven. Kids biking, dads grilling, moms chatting over perfect hedges. But underneath, pure HOA tyranny disguised as community standards. And ruling it all with a fake polite smile and an iron fist was Pamela Voss, president of the Willowbrook Homeowners Association. She wore her maroon official jacket like it was a sheriff's badge, always clutching that clipboard like it granted her life or death power. Neighbors called her Deb the enforcer behind her back, but to her face it was all yes, Pamela, whatever you say. I was Ethan Brooks, the software guy everyone had already labeled troublemaker months earlier, just because I once emailed the board asking why our mailbox couldn't have a tiny American flag. They spread the rumor I was disruptive to neighborhood harmony. I didn't fight it. I smiled, nodded, and watched. My wife Lila, though, she poured her soul into our backyard. She built the storytime arbor herself from scrap wood and lattice, training night-blooming jasmine and climbing roses over it for our kids, Ava and Lucas. Every evening after dinner we'd drag out pillows and a flashlight. The kids called it Mom's Magic Tunnel, because the scent wrapped around bedtime stories like a hug. It wasn't just a garden feature. For the HOA started circling like sharks smelling blood in the water. The first fine arrived in a crisp envelope. Unauthorized vertical growth exceeding approved height per section 4.2.7, $250. Lila laughed it off and trimmed a vine. Then came the second notice, hand-delivered by Pamela herself. She stood on our driveway in her jacket, cigarette dangling despite the no smoking within 50 feet rule she enforced on everyone else. "Dear, it's not personal," she cooed in that sugary voice. "We're just protecting resale values. Those jasmine blooms trigger allergies, you know." Never mind that she lit up right there. Lila kept every letter in the kitchen drawer, never raising her voice. "We'll fix it the right way," she always said. The right way almost got her killed. That afternoon the board called about an urgent compliance check. I was upstairs running numbers for work when Lila stepped outside to show them the arbor. Ava was coloring on the porch, Lucas had headphones on. I didn't hear the shot. I felt the silence first, that heavy vacuum that sucks the air out of a house. By the time I hit the yard, Lila was on the ground clutching her side, blood soaking the jasmine roots she'd nurtured for 2 years. The right side of the arbor was splintered, vines dangling like broken promises. Pamela stood 6 feet away, gun still warm in her hand, no panic on her face. She reached for something, Pamela muttered into her phone when I shoved it at her. That something was a pair of pruning shears. Pamela wasn't even real law enforcement anymore. Her old security consultant license had been downgraded years ago. But the HOA let her play deputy anyway, patrolling in her golf cart like she owned the deed to every soul on the block. I'd been cataloging her moves for months, quietly. Every fine, every targeted citation, every fake code she quoted. The pattern was screaming. Lila was the 12th young mom with a voice and a garden to get hit. Most families had sold and fled. A few filed complaints that went nowhere. None of it mattered until the bullet. I wrapped Lila's wound with my shirt, clean through the ribs, missed the lung by inches. Paramedics said she was lucky. Ava whispering, "Mom's magic tunnel is broken." That's when I knew waiting for the board to do the right thing was a joke. They didn't suspend Pamela. In the minutes. When we got home from the hospital, a fresh notice was taped to our door. Pending review of hostile incident, household temporarily barred from community events. Another page blamed unregistered landscape modifications. They buried a bullet in paperwork like it was a parking ticket. Lucas found the letter first. Folded it. "They're blaming Mom," he said. Pamela was back cruising the streets in her cart by the next morning. Aviators on, expression blank like nothing happened. That week 3 more fines arrived, one for community disruption, one for hostile reactions to enforcement, one citing our motion lights as surveillance-grade violations. They weren't ignoring the shooting. Justify it. I pulled every old violation we'd received, timestamped them, voice-printed the calls. Fines spiked 60% whenever Pamela led inspections. It wasn't rules. She targeted women who spoke up, moms with gardens, moms with questions, moms with kids who laughed too loud on Saturdays. Lila had emailed the board 3 times politely, once about fines, once about inspection schedules, once asking for Arbor reconsideration. That was enough to mark her. No casseroles, no condolences. HOA loyalty ran deep here. They saw Pamela as the firewall against those kinds of people. 3 days later I walked the Arbor. I hadn't touched the blood stain. Evidence now. Heard the gate knock. 2 board guys with measuring tape. Inspection for setback compliance. I didn't move. You're standing where she was shot, I said quietly. One more step and you're named in the report I'm building. They left pale. I already knew how they worked, death by 1,000 paper cuts. But I wasn't scared of paper. An analyst spotting fraud before it exploded. This time it had exploded on my family. Now I'd make the world see the pattern. The emergency board meeting was in the stuffy community room by the pool. AC broken, blinds down. 6 members sat there pretending this was just another agenda item. Pamela was on administrative leave. The discussion wasn't about my wife bleeding out or the kids watching. It was about optics and insurance coverage. One guy read new targets, 3 homes, 2 moms cited for inconsistent mailbox finishes. I stood silent in the back, bloodstains still on my shirt. After everyone left, I cornered the secretary, Lem, in the doorway. I know you abstained on the Arbor vote, I said. I have the audio. He didn't deny it. Next morning an anonymous email arrived. A board call recording where Pamela's voice dripped smug. I don't care if it's legal. That woman thinks she can make us look weak. Someone laughed. Lem had just stepped off the ledge. New violations kept coming with fake photos, our fence, gutter, porch light. All time-stamped from 3 blocks away. I mapped it. Metadata errors. This wasn't local. Contractors override privileges, forged uploads. Pamela had reclassified herself as community security specialist to gain federal clearances. I scraped forums across counties. Identical stories. Women cited by nameless inspectors who vanished. I texted Lem for portal access. He sent the back-end logs. Every override was hers. She'd flagged Lila as escalation threat weeks before the shot. That night I built the video. Overlay. The HOA said she was aggressive. Then Pamela's voice. I don't care if it's legal. Camera zoomed on the bullet hole, bloodstain, ER timestamps, citation history tied to her ID. I uploaded unlisted, sent to journalists and ethics boards. The first story broke on a campus paper. Local HOA linked to harassment network. Then regional, national. The security firm issued corporate babble and cut her loose. Portal showed her credentials revoked. But I wasn't done. Audit using buried language they forgot existed. Got 5 minutes at the next meeting. The auditorium was packed. Aisles. Only 3 original board members left. Pamela's seat empty. Played the audio. The room went dead silent, then erupted. Vote them out, someone yelled. Petitions circulated. The Arbor become a memorial. By meeting end, the board was suspended under state oversight. Pamela's mugshot hit the news at dawn. Former HOA president charged with assault, fraud, falsified clearance. Further probes in 2 states. The firm called her rogue. But we knew better, the system trained her. Lem resigned and brought closed session tapes proving the board joked about the Arbor lady asking to be corrected. Flyers went in every mailbox. Facts, no threats. 5 more board members quit. First act, the Arbor clause. No citations without visual proof in 72-hour dispute window. Decisions streamed live. That evening we stood under the arbor. Jasmine still clung stubborn. Lucas left the mount ring as a scar. So it remembers, he said. Lila planted fresh roots. She whispered. The old silence was gone. Now waved. One woman who'd sold her house after similar harassment sent a photo of her own rebuilt arbor with a note. We didn't know what to call it until now. This wasn't revenge. What happened to Lila wasn't one bullet. It was years of rules turning gardens into battlegrounds and voices into violations. We named it on display and called it policy. And people finally listened. If your HOA is circling with fines and fake authority, don't wait for blood. Document. Speak before the trigger pulls. The paper cuts only bleed if you stay quiet. Share this if you felt that knot in your stomach reading your own mailbox. Because somewhere tonight another family is folding letters, paying fines, hiding their Jasmine. Don't let them do it alone. Personal takeaway. HOA power only exists because we let fear keep us silent. Document everything, question everything, and when the mask slips, strike with truth. Justice isn't loud. It's patient, precise, and unstoppable once the pattern breaks. Stay sharp, neighbors.